Hello, Dr. Licciardi.
Farrah, it's so great to see you again. I'm real excited to see what's going on in your scans. We've got your repeat, so I do have a copy of the previous ones, and we'll kind of see how they compare.
Fingers crossed it's changed, because I feel like a whole new woman from changing my brain.
So tell me, what have you done? What have the last months been like for you?
Yes, so like right after I left here, I started the supplements that I thought would best help me here at the office. GABA was most important for me, since the center of my brain that I learned was, like on high alert or anxiety or stress. So GABA was my go-to probably every day. That's something that I really recognized. I could focus, I could get better sleep. So I've had great sleep.
What a difference that makes, right?
Yes. But I also felt, because I was getting better and better sleep, I had unknown outer elements attacking my system when I left here. So I actually had to move. I had mold. So I don't know if anyone talks about mold and what that does to your brain, but
oh my goodness, you had
so I had
the blood work that we had said, hey, get this blood work done. Was that did that start to show that there was something going on? Is that how you figured out?
So yes, and also it was like my brain, I guess, felt like me understanding myself. I could understand more of my environment. And I was, I think, ignoring the fact that this brand new place that I had just moved in for my move had mold in it. So it got so severe, like ear infections, sinus infections. And I was like, okay. So severe. It got so severe. So we had to emergency move after I saw you. It was wild.
But I'm really glad you figured it out. Some people live in mold for years. They don't realize they've got water damage. And so that's what mold happens. Is if you had flooding, a pipe burst, air conditioning broke, anything that's a source of a water leak.
Yeah.
And you can't always see it. A lot of times
I couldn't see it.
It'll be underneath the baseboard. It'll be under the carpet or behind a wall. Really good areas to make sure you're testing and checking for mold, like under sinks and faucet areas.
So this was in my shower that went into my bedroom where I was sleeping at night. I think that's
breathing it all night long. Yes.
So it was super dangerous. It felt like I lost my brain. And a lot of other things. So now that you're seeing me as healthy as I am, I'm just super excited to just say I got very big news since the last time I saw you. No matter the mold, no matter the attacks, no matter anything on my system that would affect my brain and my well-being, I'm just, again, I started off by saying I'm grateful for the supplements that I got here. That really helped something calm down so I could figure things out. Other than my normal of freaking out, probably.
We did have you do another scan where you take a test beforehand to get you to concentrate. We know you have ADHD, so it's not surprising you had a little trouble on the ADHD test. So we won't belabor it because it's the same one that you took last time.
Oh, cool.
So where the line is average. Everything below the line is better than average, and above the line is worse than average. So these scores here above the line are consistent with your ADHD diagnosis, that you have trouble with focus and concentration.
Yeah.
So we knew that.
Certainly do.
So poor concentration is kind of the core feature of ADHD, but it's also caused by anxiety, depression, PTSD, mood disorders. So you could have 10 different causes for poor concentration, ADHD only being one of them.
Yeah, and I think that's why my glass was because of the trauma, because of the anxiety, because of the stress. On top of ADHD, that's
so when all those other things are more manageable, now you don't have 4 things giving you poor concentration. You have 1 and you can compensate.
Yes.
And so there's strategy. So ADHD, yes, there are medications, but there's also techniques, time management, organization, keeping lists and calendars and planners, right? Because the pill doesn't keep it all organized for you. It
That's
just helps you to,
Yeah, my medication was not doing the organizers, setting the alarms, trying to communicate with my family. So I'm happy I can do that.
So here are your scans. We're going to dive right in. These are your old ones, and these are the new ones. So this is an improvement in your brain health that we see your brain has more even blood flow.
Can I just be like, oh my
Can I walk
God.
around and show? Yeah, right out of my purse.
My brain makeover is better than like real life makeover. This is crazy.
I like that brain makeover. That's a great
I'm for it.
Your temporal lobe was your mood regulator. So
Okay.
low activity was the moodiness, the emotional roller coaster with irritability or flashes of anger happens with low temporal lobes.
Oh.
So with good temporal lobe, it's more steady and even keeled.
Okay, cool.
And then the other thing we see is the general overall blood flow. See how bumpy this is versus how smooth this looks. This is healthier. So
This is
that's good.
amazing.
The takeaway is you have a beautiful makeover that this looks healthier than this does.
That is insane.
You know, it's working. What you're doing is working.
Literally, whatever my brain's been telling me to feel better, that's what I've been doing. When it's like neurofeedback, oxygen, whatever.
So this is great news. This is what we love to see.
Yeah, brain was like, whoa, that is crazy.
Really, this looks like kind of like the sample scans. Like, you know, we say this is a healthy brain, should have good, even blood flow.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy I have a healthy brain. Like, God bless it.
So that's taking a look at the outside surface. This is the internal activity.
Okay.
And so here we do see there's a lot more happening. So in March, you had some activity in these areas. And now what we see is there's more action happening here. And then we compare that to how that relates to what you're experiencing in your life. Because some people, more activity can cause problems, and some people, more activity can actually motivate them or increase their drive.
Okay.
So we start off by looking at your basal ganglia here. So your basal ganglia had some activity before, but it's increased now. So these are your anxiety centers. Not all anxiety is bad anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So too much anxiety is overwhelming. It's the negative, what if, imagining worst case scenarios, expecting bad outcomes. So
I have to say, when my brain looked like this, it was always just making things a bigger and bigger deal for me. Like thinking way in advance about something, making it up. I was like
creating problems that aren't even there yet.
Yeah, I was creating, I felt like anxiety. So I hope that this activity is positive activity because it's, you know, at least both sides of the brain are on. But
yeah, so one, it's more even. You do expect to see symmetrical, so that's better. The other thing is zero anxiety is not good either. That's apathy. If you don't have any anxiety, you don't care. You're not motivated.
Yeah, I was very much not in a motivated space.
So anxiety can be a driver for motivation. And so people who are really highly driven, right? Independent, CEO.
Right here, girl, right here.
Entrepreneurs, right? You need to have a high, like, if you know you have a 9-to-5 job that you just show up and you do your job, and you know, that's one level of motivation. But if it all rides on you, you're running a company, you're a CEO, you're an entrepreneur, you have to have an extra level of motivation to be able to have that sort of success because nobody's holding you accountable. You got to do it yourself, right?
Yeah, and I need to envision things. I need to create things. I don't need to make things up and cause problems in my head. You know, there's two different brains here we're seeing.
Yes.
Show me that one.
Yes. So it's how you harness the anxiety. And the way the anxiety was happening before was dragging you down the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, literally.
Now the anxiety is pushing you forward towards vision and dreams and drive. So that's good.
Love it.
So we want to be able to have that anxiety as being driven and motivated, that's harnessing it productively without it feeling overwhelming. And meditation's a great strategy to be able to use your anxiety in a good way.
Yeah.
That it lets you feel that sense of calmness so that the anxiety isn't just like overwhelming, right?
Yeah. I love it.
So being that driven or motivated can be that positive side of anxiety. Then this is the thalamus. It's a relay center. So it's in charge of regulating a lot of things like your appetite, your sleep, your libido. And so we want to keep activity. You don't want zero activity. You want those things to be regulated. Thalamus can also correlate with symptoms of depression. So if you're having low mood or low motivation, those feeling downs, that can be related to thalamus activity.
Okay.
But you're doing so much better with depression, right? We had that dip and now it's so great. So then the next area.
So what does this mean then? Because it's definitely more on and awake, which I'm just happy to see more of my brain on.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, whoa, someone's gotten dormant and in a hole in this brain. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this is a positive then.
So yes, and it's normal for people to have activity in the thalamus. It sends a lot of messages, like you want thalamus activity. It's in charge of like relaying it's a relay center and a regulation center.
Okay, cool.
The next area is your anterior cingulate. That's here. So we didn't really see much anterior cingulate before. Now we find that kind of showing up more.
Okay.
Your anterior cingulate is your gear shifter. So high activity can be a good thing when it looks like reliability and consistency, so that you are, you're going to do things the same way. So it's going to have a good outcome, that you're going to be reliable and consistent with that.
Amen to that. I'm like, yay, consistency.
So we like anterior cingulate. The goal is not 0. We don't want to eliminate it. We like having that consistency, and you combine it with the basal ganglia. So like really driven and like reliable. Those are strengths. We want to harness those strengths.
Okay, love that.
We want to be careful that it can also look like perfectionistic tendencies. We're going a little too far. If it has to be a certain way, or that all or nothing, that like it's perfect. And if I'm not perfect, then I'm a failure, right?
Yeah, I got a good sense of compassion right now. So I don't think it's like, but you have to like, again, envision so I can get it done.
What I'm real excited to see is this improvement in your cerebellum down here. This looks a lot better. You had a sleepy cerebellum. This was a low activity down here. And that was also related to the overall health of your brain. So when your brain had low activity, it was more of a deactivation pattern, low activity in the cerebellum, which is responsible for your balance, coordination, and fine motor movement. That's touching your finger to your nose, walking heel toe in a straight line.
How did I get through life, before?
But your cerebellum also is part of your executive functioning.
Yes.
It works with that prefrontal cortex, and they communicate as part of your complex decision-making and planning, that CEO functioning of your brain. Your cerebellum's involved in that. And so you had a low underactive cerebellum, reflecting the kind of overall low activity in your brain health. We call it a deactivation pattern. So like you said, now your brain is more active. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, CEO was on break. CEO came back to office.
Yes.
Like, oh boy.
So this is improvement. We're happy to see this better activity more happening in your cerebellum.
Okay, I'm just so happy. It looks like the back of the brain, right? Is that the back?
Yes, this is the back of the brain.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see the back is on,
Yeah, it's healing. Brains are resilient. They want to heal.
Okay.
So if we give them what they need, your brain wants to get better.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to be in touch. So do I have to keep doing these every 6 months?
No, it's better.
Okay, cool. So it will not go like, I don't, like when you go on a diet and then 6 months later, you got to find a new diet.
No, so your brain, unless something changes, right?
Yeah.
If you have a new something that comes up that puts you at risk, then, new problems can, worsen your brain health. But you've addressed the current problems and you've healed from it. And so you keep doing the good things that you're doing. It's going to stay good. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. I'm going to take myself out, pat on the back.
Yeah. And this also then, it makes it so rewarding that it's measurable. Like, I feel better. So it's worth doing these things because I can tell I feel better.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things like, well, it's so worth doing. Look how much better my brain works.
I am just so grateful. And I'm just so grateful to understand my health and what I can help myself with. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I don't think you probably need me much anymore. You're doing fantastic.
I love that. Thank you. I
love it when I say you graduated, right? Like,
thank you. Yes.
So if you need me, I'm here.
Yes.
But you've achieved the goals that you set out.
Heck yes, I did.
You're on a great path. If you need any check-ins, you're welcome to.
Yes.
But, we're doing great.